Well, welcome to the 700 Club. President Trump is halfway through his first 100 days, and he's filled some of his campaign promises already. He's gotten started also on his major initiatives for this year, including repealing and replacing Obamacare and tax reform.
White House correspondent Jennifer Wishon has this look at Trump's historic presidency so far and at the road ahead.
In his first 50 days as the most powerful man on earth, America's oldest president to assume the office is moving at warp speed. He's signed his name to more than 30 executive orders, welcomed 4 world leaders for official White House visits, and to both the delight of his supporters and disturbance of his opponents, he's tweeted more than 250 times. So now, it's official.
I can proudly say I'm a politician. Okay, I'm a politician.
And he's learning the challenges of pushing a bold agenda through Washington.
If you remember, ISIS said we are going to infiltrate the United States and other countries through the migration. And then we're not allowed to be tough on the people coming in?
Despite a rough rollout of his first executive order on immigration, the president quickly checked off his campaign promises, including some that sent a record number of evangelicals to the polls. He reversed a policy that sent tax dollars to groups performing abortions overseas, nominated a pro-life justice to the Supreme Court, and rolled out a plan to repeal and replace Obamacare. Plus, he's overseeing a growing economy, and Wall Street has enjoyed a very sharp rally since Trump took office. But much of this confidence is based on promises the president has made but hasn't yet delivered on, like a drastic reduction in federal regulations that businesses say stifle economic growth, and tax cuts on both businesses and individuals.
We're going to reduce taxes for companies and for people, and I can use the word again, massively. It's going to be a big tax cut. The biggest since Reagan, may be bigger than Reagan's.
He's ordered 2 regulations be repealed for every new one created and deployed task forces to agencies to make it happen.
I think that they have had their work cut out for him.
Trump is often at odds with the media. Still, 50 days in, it remains standing room only in the press briefing room for the must-see TV daily briefing.
He's not a canned politician that's going to give the same state answers over and over again.
Despite his war of words with the mainstream media, so far, he's much more accessible than America's last president. In an exclusive interview with CBN News, the president says he's relying on God now more than ever.
I've always felt the need to pray, and you know that. So I would say that the office is so powerful that you need God even more.
His first joint address to Congress was a coup. Now he's working to build on that momentum as he presses towards his first 100 days. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
Well, if there's ever a time for prayer for our president, it's now. And half of us voted for him, half of us voted against him. But we all need to come together. We need to realize we are one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And let's pray for him. The Bible commands us to pray for leadership, and let's pray for him because we face a lot of challenges. Well, President Trump is also facing an important challenge for a specific group of illegal immigrants here in the U.S. John Jessup has that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
Thanks, Gordon. Last month, the president said he's going to show, quote, great heart in creating a legal path for immigrants known as Dreamers. They are young adults who were brought to the United States illegally as children, and more than 1 million of them are living and working here and often face an uncertain future. Heather Sells caught up with 2 sisters who are praying President Trump comes through on his campaign promise.
It can be very, very stressful.
Daniela Gonzalez is waiting on the government to renew her work permit. It expires in 3 weeks.
I think they don't understand how pressing it is, that it's literally our lives at stake.
She and her sister Andrea are both dreamers. When they were children, their family fled food shortages and violence in Venezuela. Their father, a Southern Baptist pastor, had a religious workers visa. A few years later, an immigration nightmare began.
we found out that our lawyer who was working on our papers had just dropped the ball and didn't reapply for our current status.
That mistake meant they had illegal status, and that meant no financial aid for college or opportunities to legally work. Reverend Tony Suarez helps lead the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Conference and is fighting for the Dreamers.
Everyone that is in the country in this limbo status of being undocumented, these what I would really look at as victims of the situation. It was not their choice to come.
The Gonzalez sisters and other Dreamers have since been able to apply for work permits under what's known as the DACA program, which started 4 years ago. But the permits only last 2 years, and they're not guaranteed. Both sisters recently reapplied, and Andrea received hers, but Daniela has not. If she doesn't receive her permit, she will lose her engineering scholarship at the University of Virginia and may have to go back to Venezuela.
I really don't have a plan B. I don't know if my engineering degree from here will do anything that I could be an engineer in Venezuela. I don't even know engineering terms in Spanish, honestly.
Many believe the Trump administration will tackle immigration reform this year and do something for the Dreamers. But even the president admits he's struggling.
It's a very, very tough subject. We are going to deal with DACA with heart. I have to deal with a lot of politicians, don't forget.
But Daniela and Andrea say that ultimately they are not waiting on the president. They are relying on the Lord.
And I don't think that I would have pulled through any of this if it wasn't for my faith, if it wasn't for believing in a God that has purpose in the tragedy and the beauty and the goodness in everything that happens to us.
Reporting in Virginia Beach, Heather Sells, CBN News.
Thanks, Heather. And President Trump also faces a long list of growing foreign policy challenges from the Middle East to Asia. And as George Thomas reports, the latest missile tests by rogue nations North Korea and Iran are only complicating and making matters worse.
Coming soon to a theater in Iran, Battle of the Persian Gulf 2. The new animated film by an Iranian director depicts an epic battle between the United States and Iran. In one scene, an Iranian officer launches a missile at a U.S. Navy ship in the Persian Gulf. Seconds later, the vessel explodes into a huge ball of fire, sinking it. The film's director told Reuters, "I hope that the film shows Trump how American soldiers will face a humiliating defeat if they attack Iran." The movie is another reminder of tensions that are brewing in the region. Iran has been conducting missile tests, with the country's Revolutionary Guards successfully testing a naval missile that can be used against targets some 100 miles away, targets that include U.S. ships. And another rogue country, North Korea, also continues to test the new administration in Washington. The communist regime carried out its 5th nuclear test and launched several missiles in recent days.
The global community needs to understand every country is in danger from the actions of North Korea.
Adding to the peninsula's political instability, South Korea, a strong U.S. ally and key trading partner, removed its president from power following corruption charges. Protests have erupted on the streets of Seoul as the country prepares to elect a new leader. George Thomas, CBN News.
Gordon, these are some serious foreign policy challenges with really no easy solutions.
And once again, a real reason to pray. And when we look at the situation in North Korea, political instability now in South Korea, when you look at this situation with Iran, you look at the situation with terrorism, ISIS, we need to pray. And we need to pray for our president, for our military leaders, for our senators, for our representatives in Congress, for our courts. Now is a time for America to pray.